Mike. All right. Okay, ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Thursday, December the 15th, 2022. Hope you're doing well. Chris Phillips here, the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. Appreciate you all tuning in. I see Cocky Twan, Gad, Travie, Brendan M, Chase Floyd, Austin War, Hunter, Noah Johns, Chuck, also those in the Big Cock Club Discord. Head over to the TDC Questions channel. The TDC Questions channel. Be sure your questions are answered there. We had us a late night in the Big Cock Club Discord and the BCC Hangout. Appreciate you guys that were kicking it. We were talking ball, talking life, talking business. Had a really good time. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. We got a lot to get into, a lot to discuss. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. Of course, always, guys, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go down the Prize Picks app, go to prizepicks.com. When you do, use the promo code TSUS to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, you can play college sports, pro sports, anything and everything in between. They have got it for you over at Prize Picks, and so many fans and listeners of the show have made tons of money with our friends at Prize Picks. So again, download the app, go to prizepicks.com, use that promo code TSUS to receive that 100% deposit match at the $100. Travis says, well, we have DBs for the bowl game. You had Darius Rush opting out this morning. He will prepare for the 2023 NFL Draft. And I will say this, guys, I've met Darius in person. Great kid, great dude. I was actually just talking to somebody right before the show started, and they said basically Darius Rush has a report to camp type deal for an NFL scouting team thing, whatever, January the 2nd, and he has to show up completely injury free. So I will say this, guys, I know none of us like when players opt out, but it is one of these things where it's like, just imagine you've been working your entire life to achieve this goal, to achieve this dream, and you've got a game, and then you've got this camp that's basically your entire life 3 days later. And so you're weighing your options, and you're like, is it really worth? And I know we hate to hear that, but especially for a guy like Darius Rush, who has overcome the adversities and overcome, it's been such a grind for him to get to this point. I understand why he made the decision. I understand why he made the decision, why he's making the decision. And I support Darius Rush. And I look at it this way, guys. Guys like Darius, when we haven't had tons of opt-outs, but now you got the opportunity for young guys to play, for them to show up, show out, for them to do their thing, and give us even more hope and excitement for the next year, right? And so I respect it. I applaud Darius Rush for his career at South Carolina, and I wish him nothing but the best. And all those guys that are preparing for the NFL, wish them nothing but the best. And, I know they'll go represent the Gamecocks in a great way at the next level. All right, let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Hunter.
Hunter, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. What about you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Yeah, so what's going on with this whole Maryland thing with the old Nicholas Harbor and Tree? It seems like they're trying to take players away from us.
They're recruiting, my guy. they're recruiting. They are using their resources they have available to get Big Tree and Nick Harbor to commit to them. And we're going to talk to JC Sherbert at 1:15 about this a lot. I promise you. We're going to talk a lot of recruiting. But, I think obviously what bothers people is that the founder, the CEO of Under Armour went to Maryland, and he was there talking to the players. And, is it, I don't know if you'd call it tampering, what have you, but they, it's just they are using their resources. And so it feels kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of weird that, like, we're an Under Armour school, and yet the owner of Under Armour is recruiting against us. You know what I mean? So, but,
that's kind of messed up. I get it.
I mean, it is what it is. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, you can't do nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, what are you going to do? So, it sucks. And, but I will say, I think when you recruit players from the DMV, when you recruit players in that area, I mean, obviously Maryland's going to be a team that you got to, and I'm sick of it too. I'm sick of going into recruiting battles with the Maryland Terrapins. That's not exactly what I thought we'd be doing right now, but
sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, what's so special about Maryland? I mean, come on now. I mean, they don't even got a chance. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but they don't even got a chance to go in the playoffs. And when was the last time you heard everybody saying, "Oh, Maryland's about to go to the playoffs" or something? Like, well, so I get that he's from there and all, but I just don't. I mean, he has a chance to go to one of the best schools in the country, and he'd rather choose Maryland. I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, I don't think Maryland is anything special either, my guy. So
yeah. No, that's all I needed. I appreciate it, though.
yeah, Hunter, appreciate the call, my guy. Thanks so much. Always a pleasure. Yeah, no, I know we're going to talk about that greatly. NIL is a huge thing. What type of deals is Maryland putting together? Again, I'm excited to hear what JC Sherbert has to say later in the show because he will join us at 1:15 today, guys. And JC, I'm excited to hear him expand on it. We'll just put it that way. Let me get into a question we had earlier in the show. Christian Miles. Chris, never got a good answer from JC today. Hopefully you can provide me a non-biased answer. He says, if this wasn't South Carolina, would you say the program was a disaster? Big-time recruits dropping out, big players transferring, very iffy OC hire, yet fans say the program's on the rise, momentum. Any other school you'd be saying, I don't know what's happening, but it does not look great out there. Christian, all right, I'll give you a non-biased answer. You have a point in regards to players hitting the portal. Okay, to players hitting the portal, the NIL stuff's happening, everything you mentioned. I could counter what you said, though, and also say that, when you look at South, if I'm looking at it from, let's just say I'm looking at it from I cover the entire SEC vantage point. There are many teams. Basically, South Carolina is one of the lowest in regards to number of players who have hit the transfer portal. So that's really not a huge issue. I understand two of them are huge in Lloyd and Bell. I get that, right? And I understand, Babalade and Jada both decommitted. I get it. Decommits happen to schools, right? I understand it. I would say this, Connerly, if I'm truly looking at it, or not Connerly, Christian Miles, I apologize. Christian Miles, if I'm looking at this truly from a non-biased mindset, okay, what you did on the field of play, Christian, trumps everything else. So I look at Carolina as a football program, went 7-6 a year, won a Shane Beamer, went 8-4 in the regular season in year 2 with Shane Beamer. That's a program on the rise. Yes, I would 110% say that, completely taking bias out. Because every school's dealing with what Carolina's dealing with. See, we go on a bit of the emotional roller coaster because we're so tied in, we're so invested with USC, which makes a lot of sense, right? We live and die with this program. We bleed the garnet and black, for better, for worse, indifferent, whatever. But yes, I would look at the South Carolina football program as a whole. I'd look at, they've got a young up-and-coming coach. They've won 7 games with a bowl win in year 1, 8 games with a potential bowl win in year 2, potential to win 9 games. Yes, this is a program on the rise. Yes, they are dealing with the normal bumps and bruises and BS that every other school's dealing with recruiting, with transfer portal, with NIL. Christian Miles, Carolina is far. Everybody's dealing with it. Everybody's dealing with it. Everybody's dealing with it. And I love what, Christian, to your point, he says, I would agree with that. Just seems like something's off with transfers and decommits who have been so for the program after a season like that. Christian, to that point, I would say this. I loved what Beamer said yesterday. When you are headed to a certain destination, right, and you're striving for greatness and you're doing things a certain way, that's going to make some guys uncomfortable, right? I can tell you this. The only one that's surprising to me is the Marshawn Lloyd one. The Jaheim Bell thing, if you talk to anybody who knows anything about anything, that is like the least shocking news of all time. That's the least shocking news of all time, that he hit the transfer portal. And we wish him best of luck, and I appreciate what he did for Carolina football, but it's the least shocking news ever. The Marshawn Lloyd one's surprising, but it's just going to happen, guys. Like, guys hit the portal. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. As critical as I've been of like the Dowell Loggins thing, and I got my criticisms out of the way. I said what I said. I was not negative to be negative. I just voiced real concerns, and I even coupled that with telling you all, hey, my desires for the OC and why I'm saying what I'm saying about Dowell Loggins, they're selfish desires. I don't know more about football than Shane Beamer. They're selfish desires. I made that very clear. Dowell Loggins is now our guy. We are riding with Dowell Loggins. Let Dowell Loggins cook. I can't wait to see him get in the kitchen, right? But you take a step back and you look at the Carolina football program. The Carolina football program is in good hands right now. I really believe that. I really believe we are We are trending the right way. We are trending the right way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everything's sunshine and rainbows, Christian Miles. I'm not saying that, but it's not sunshine and rainbows for anybody. It's not just all sunshine and rainbows. Everybody has their own shit going on. Everybody does. Everybody's dealing with it, as Shane pointed out. But, you know, yes, taking the Garnet, I mean, I don't wear Garnet glasses, but taking a step back, I would look at South kind of football and say, I would say this. I would say this realistically. As we sit here right now, is it 110% guarantee Shane Beamer within the next 5 years is going to win a national championship? No, I can't guarantee you that. But as we sit here today, is the program in a good position and I think trending the way we want it to trend? Yes, it is. Yes, I think that's fair. Yes, I think that's absolutely fair. Yes. Let's not forget just, 3 weeks ago or however long ago, Carolina beat Clem sucks. And the week before that, they beat Tennessee. And they won 8 games. So, I mean, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. So, where the transfer portal taketh, it also giveth. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. I know we're impatient. I know it can't happen fast enough, right? It literally cannot happen fast enough. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So, anyways, guys, I love the question. And listen, I love the question. I love the question. Yeah, I love the question. So, anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. I want to hear from you. Yeah, so. David Barnes, I don't know who the home team is in the bowl games. Anybody enlighten me? Brendan M's got to know. Brendan M's got to know. Here we go. We got a text here. Let's see. He says, good morning. I texted this question yesterday. I keep hearing that we South going to have the NIL money. That's not the issue. Cool, we may have it, but are we offering it? Jace. Jace, I would say this. I would assume we are. Why would we not be? But again, I'd pose this question. So who are we? Are we worried about NIL when it comes to recruits? Are we worried about NIL when it comes to Marshawn Lloyd, Jaheim Bell? Which, by the way, if we're home, I mean we got to go black Garnet, right? We have to. We have to go with the big game Garnet. We have to. Beamer's version of big game Garnet. I would say this. Are we offering the NIL? I would believe so. I mean, again, JC Sherbert, who we bring on the show every Thursday, he has a collective. Garnet Trust is a collective. Park Avenue is a collective. Like, we have money. Have we ever thought about maybe we don't believe in making bad business deals? Like, let's just assume. Let's just pretend, right? Let's say we were giving Marshawn Lloyd, because we had this conversation last night in the Discord. And I was asked about, Chris, if we were giving Marshawn Lloyd $1 million and whoever else, school X, offered Marshawn 1.5 and he left. And you know what my response was? And my response would be today, if we were paying Marshawn Lloyd $1 million and we just got him off of our payroll because somebody was willing to pay him 1.5, then you know what? They did us the biggest favor of all time. Because Marshawn Lloyd, folks, I'm here to tell you, was not worth $1 million. And maybe, you know what? Maybe Shane Beamer and company, they're just not into making bad business deals. Maybe they look at it and say, you know what? We love you. We'd love for you to be a Gamecock, but we believe Dontavius Braswell can get 600 yards and a couple tutties. Like, we're confident in this guy. We don't need to overpay. We don't need to overspend. We will take that NIL money and we will allocate it elsewhere. Because it ain't unlimited funds. We don't have some unlimited, bank account, right? We got to be careful with our funds. So don't spend money, poorly. Don't make bad investments. I mean, maybe have we ever thought about that? Jaheim Bell, same thing. I respect it. Go get the bag. You want to go get it? Go get it. Maybe we're not into making bad investments. I mean, listen, I'm all for giving a guy $1 million, but damn it, you ain't even all conference. You want $1 million? You ain't even all. And I'm just making up a number. I don't know. I don't know what the number is. I love this comment. Tommy McClellan says, "Stop with all the bullshit. Trust Beamer and quit worrying about shit we have no control over." Tommy, if we truly, Tommy, to your point, if we truly followed that advice, we wouldn't even wake up and talk sports, Tommy, because we don't have any control over what happens on a day in, day out basis. There wouldn't be a show. I mean, think about it, Tommy. Wouldn't even be a show. We don't control any of it. We just sit back and watch. We sit back and react, but that's the beauty of it. The beauty's in the banter. So I don't know, man. If you be careful what you wish for, Tommy, because then there'd be no show to tune into. If I sat here and said, I'm just going to worry about what I can control. Well, what I can control is my day. You know, I can't control football. I can't control hires. I can't control results on the field. I can't control hardly any of it, you know, but we have opinions on it and it's fun to talk about, right? It's fun to talk about. I mean, people can't control politics, but God forbid they go crazy and want to kill each other over it. So you tell me how stupid that is. Oh, don't go there, he says. Don't go there, he says. Don't go there. Trust me, I'm not going there. I don't want to go there. I will never go there. Somebody texts in, if Rattler does not come back as QB1, who could be a potential QB1? I really like the sound of Davis and switch Doty to a slot role. If Rattler doesn't come back, I don't see Doty switching positions. Let me put it that way. If Rattler doesn't come back, okay, if Rattler doesn't come back and we don't pick up a portal guy and Doty doesn't win the job at a spring ball, I think Doty will transfer. It's just my take. I maybe he won't, but I feel like Luke Doty wants to play. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, I know the kid loves being a Gamecock. Hard to project. And Tommy says, yeah, it's fun. I just don't like people questioning Beamer at every turn. And I hear you, Tommy. I hear you. I think what people have to understand, and I'll get on this because, I love the comments. I love the banter, but I saw a comment this morning. Lady Bree, who calls into our show, you go over to Facebook. Lady Bree tried to insinuate that I just basically tried to insinuate that I'm not a free thinker, that I just pander to my audience. I just tell my audience what they want to hear, which couldn't be further from the truth. And it's sort of an insult to insinuate that we've built TSUS up to this point by just pandering to the audience, just telling the audience what they want to hear. It's complete bogus. It's bullshit. It's buffoonery. It's bozo talk. That's what that is. It's complete bozo talk, slapdickery at its finest. But I would say this. Here's what I would say. I know this is hard for some people to grasp. You can be critical of something you support. It is possible. It is very possible. So I support Shane Beamer. And that's why I said over and over and over again, Shane Beamer has shit out more football than I'll ever know. Shane Beamer, I wasn't even questioning the Loggins hire from like an X's and O's standpoint. All I ever said was the resume is concerning. That's it. I know that's a very surface level take. I understand it. But no, to Beamer's point, I didn't call Bill Parcells. I didn't call Jay Cutler. I didn't even call Connor Shaw. I didn't do that level of research. I'm willing to admit it. I'm just a guy with a microphone and a podcast. That's it. But you look at the resume, off first glance, it was concerning. And then you look at, when you hear Shane Beamer say that everybody and their mother was calling for this job and wanted this job, and then you hire a guy that I'd never heard of before, first reaction was a little bit, it was a little bit underwhelming. It was a hire that it required Shane Beamer being fired up in his presser to sell us all on the hire. It took him selling it a little bit, which is understandable when you look at the resume. That being said, I trust Shane Beamer. Like at the end of the day, right? I've given my 2 cents about it. I've given my 2 cents, right? But like the clip I posted this morning, I trust Shane Beamer. Beamer believes in Loggins. Therefore, effectively, I believe in Loggins. That's it. So, and the results on the field will define the rest. That's it. So, I'm not flip-flopping when it comes to my thoughts on the Dowell Loggins hire. I still think it's a risk, which any hire would have. Even if you hired a name, it would have been a risk. But, when you look at his track record and you look at his resume, and I think the thing I'm grasping to and hoping for is that we're looking back in 3, 4, 5 years and our offenses have been electric, and we just look and say, you know what, Loggins just wasn't an NFL guy. He was in some bad situations in the NFL, and that's why the numbers were what they were. But you're not a bad fan, and you're not negative for saying that Loggins has a lot to prove. You're not negative for that. You're not. There's some people, I think they just really truly believe that if you're not just blindly supporting, and if you're not just blindly falling in line, that you're somehow negative. And you're not, dude. You're not. Listen, fans at this point are investors. They're investors, right? They're investors. So investors are more within their right to question. They are. And again, it's that level of pressure. Pressure creates diamonds. I always want my head coach to feel pressure. Pressure's not a negative, though. I don't mean that in a negative way. Pressure is a positive. Pressure is a privilege, right? When Will Sanders takes the baseball on a Friday night, which I pray to God he's our Friday night guy, but when he takes the ball on a Friday night, there's a lot of pressure. Why? Because that is a very highly sought after position. And South Carolina, we care greatly about our baseball program, and there's a lot of pressure to win and be great because those before you have laid the foundation. Like, pressure's a positive. You know what I mean? So there always should be a little bit of pressure. Pressure's great. Pressure keeps you on your toes. Pressure. I mean, you guys, everybody feels pressure to some degree. I was asked, did I see the Gene Sapakoff tweet? I had not until just now. Gene Sapakoff tweeted this morning, I guess, 9:51 a.m. Among the first rules of journalism, quote, if your mother says she loves you, check it out. So checking with some of the best sports beat writers, reporters in the country, those that cover SEC football programs, to find out which SEC coordinator job Dowell Loggins turned down in 2021. Text me. So basically what he's putting out feelers to check. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if I'm Gene, I just drop it. I don't know. If you're Gene, I would say drop. Whatever. I don't know. If you're Gene, drop it. But Gene wants to fight. Gene wants to fight, so he then posted a follow-up about Loggins and UK. Interesting. Anyways, 843-790-3377, guys. The phone lines are open. 843-790-3377. Let's see. Jay says, I agree with your stance on bad investments, that if we can't land those better other players here in Columbia, where does that leave our team if we let the talent, however good, go? Just looking at both sides. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I just think the portal, Jace, it's going to happen every year. Like, we're never going to – the people are going to hit the portal. People are going to hit the portal. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I refuse to believe, though, that we're broke boys and we can't afford to give guys – we're not. We have NIL collectives. Guys just – I mean, if they want to go, they're going to go. Some guys, it don't even matter for the money. Some guys just want to leave. Some guys don't – maybe they don't like being a Gamecock, and that's crazy to hear, but some guys probably feel that way. So, I mean, the portal giveth. You just have to – again, you truly do have to trust that Shane Beamer – and which I do. He's got it fully under control. He's navigating the program. Nothing happens, without his knowing. So the Bell, the Lloyd stuff, I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Yeah. Anyways, Coach Ford has his take on the Beamer-Sapakoff thing. Beamer was very unprofessional with Sapakoff. That's what Coach Ford believes. Let's see. And I'll say this. I'll say this about that whole deal. You know, Beamer, I love Beamer's fire and I love Beamer's energy and I love it. Like, I love the way Beamer carries himself. And so what took place yesterday in the presser, it was not surprising. You know, it would, to me, like, I again, that's kind of who Shane Beamer is. And I will say, you don't want to, if you're Shane Beamer, go out of your way to make enemies in the media, because the media has, or just whoever, because they have the freedom to write and to say whatever they want. And so if they want to become a pain in your ass, they can become a pain in your ass. It's possible. They can become a thorn in your side. On the flip side, if you're Gene Sapakoff, you don't want Shane Beamer to dislike you. Like, you don't want to be in that position. You don't, especially like from his vantage point, when you know, the type of media, traditional journalism that a guy like Gene Sapakoff does, he's very dependent on Shane Beamer. He's very dependent on information. He's very dependent on press conferences, very dependent on access, right? So, you know, if we want to have this whole conversation about access and credentials and the media and journalism, we can do so. But yeah, I think Sapakoff should just let it go. I really do. I don't know that this is a, you know, you don't want to get in a battle of egos here. I'll just say that. I was going to say something else, but I'll keep it to myself. Yeah. Anyways. Brian Dean, South Carolina's 5-5. If we can have a break-even season on Lamont Paris's first year, I would consider it a success. Yeah, I tell you this. Brian. I tough one last night, and I expected it. You know, UAB is a good basketball team, and they took it to us. That's going to be a tournament team, by the way. Like, UAB is really good, and that Howard kid is Jelly Howard. He's a freak. But I'm really curious to see what SEC play is going to look like for this crew. And you know, it's wild, because as business evolves, content evolves, I evolve as a human being. But again, more so, you know, relevant to you guys, like the way we create content evolves, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to continue to talk about basketball and cover it, but especially if we beat Notre Dame, I have this feeling that basketball is going to take such a back seat. It's going to take such a back seat in fans' minds, because, and you know, again, we very well might win Saturday against East Carolina, but it's just the reality of what the season's probably going to be is pretty bleak. And it is what it is. We expected it, Brian. I mean, for sure, we're not deep. We got GG and then a bunch of other people, so a bunch of other guys. So. And I'll say this. I said it yesterday, and I won't talk on it much more because there's just no point in my mind. I had no issues. Like, if Gene Sapakoff wants to write an article, it is what it is. Like, whatever. He's free to do whatever. I mean, I was critical of the hire as well, and I voiced my concerns about it as well. Now, I support Beamer, and I'm standing on behind Beamer, but you know, I was critical of it, and I'm not going to apologize for that at all. I think my concerns were actually pretty valid. And that's not pandering to an audience. That's just keeping it a buck. But I will say the follow-up question that Gene had, asking Loggins and basically almost trying to make Loggins say something that would go against Shane Beamer's word. That just, you know, guys, I believe in applying pressure, and I would do so if I ever got into a press conference, which I never will. If I did, I would be more than happy to apply pressure, but I would never put a coach, a player, anyone in a position to where I'm almost trying to make them look bad. Like, that's what you're kind of doing in that scenario. You're trying to make somebody look bad when well, he said this. You're trying to make him look bad. So, you know, I just, yeah. I thought that was shitty. I thought that was shitty of Gene Sapakoff. I did. I thought that was shitty. So I get it. He's an unbiased media guy, and he's going to cover the media unbiased. But don't go out of your way to try to make people look stupid or bad or just what do you gain out of that? You gain nothing out of it. Anyways, let's see. Anyways, whatever. Let's see. Lance, what's going on, my guy? The deleter of lattes in the building. The deleter of lattes. Yeah, Lance, I think Loggins is going to do work in the portal also. I think we're just getting started, man. I know people are, a little impatient. We got plenty of time. I think we will get we'll get who we need in the portal and so yeah. I'm excited for it. So anyways, guys, in case you missed the latest news, Darius Rush has opted out of the bowl game to prepare for the NFL draft, which, I support fully and wish him nothing but the best and excited for, maybe a Keenan Nelson Jr., Anthony Rose, or some of our other young DBs that'll get an opportunity to play, and certainly doesn't change my excitement of the game against Notre Dame. I'm very, very excited to start talking Carolina Notre Dame. Very pumped for it. Very, very pumped for it and looking forward to it. And yeah. So anyways, guys, phone lines are open. Y'all must be kind of exhausted from the week. And I wouldn't even blame you. What is this sheet of paper that did Maryland? I can't even. Nick Harbor, 5-star recruit, deciding between Maryland and South Carolina. He's here tonight, so we need to show him as much love as you can. If you see him, feel free to ask for a picture and tell him to stay home. At the under 16 timeout in the first half, we're going to chant, "We want Nick" 3 times. His name is pronounced Nick. Be loud. What in the world? Wow, that's funny. That's funny. Thomas Walker says the Scout Team Bowl. Connor Lee, what are you asking Santa for, Chris? Hey, Connor, if you want to know, stay tuned. Next Friday is the Dear Santa episode. I know many people look forward to that one. That's a fun one. That's a very fun one. Excuse me. Travis says, want to see Nelson Jr. and Rose. I do too. Yeah. I do too. Yeah, it'll be fun. Banks, O'Donnell, Fortune. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think we'll get Trey Knox. I do. I think Trey Knox definitely is going to be a Gamecock, just from everything I've heard. Again, we will have JC Sherbert on at 1:15. We'll talk to him a lot about the portal. We'll talk to him a lot about recruiting. Going to be a lot of fun. So appreciate JC and Phil having me on their show at 11:30 a.m. this morning. Inside the Gamecocks, talking everything. Travis says Landon Sampson too. Yeah, I mean, again, it's an opportunity for young guys to play, and that's an exciting thing. That's a very, very exciting thing, and guys that are going to help us next season. They get an opportunity to shine early, and today's contributors in the Gator Bowl could be tomorrow's superstars. You know what I mean? So, Brian, we'll head down to Jacksonville Wednesday the 29th. Or excuse me, Wednesday the 28th? Yeah, because the game's on the 30th. Yes. Yes. So we'll head down Wednesday. I'm going to be there Wednesday through Saturday. So Wednesday the 28th, Thursday the 29th. Yeah. Yeah. Wednesday the 28th, I'll be down there. So probably late, but we'll be down there in Jacksonville. And I'll be at that pep rally thing they're having Thursday. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I know there's a lot of stuff going on with yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Let's see. Somebody said Pup Howard is practicing with the team. Is that legit, or I mean, I know he was attending practice. Somebody's saying he's actually practicing. That seems interesting. Okay. NCAA rules permit incoming players to participate in on-campus practices not at the bowl site, so long as high school coursework is completed and admission has been granted to the collegiate institution. Okay. So, I guess he's practicing. All right. Cool. Pup Howard's practicing. How about that? Yeah. There you go. Well, Tyler, no, it literally just said NCAA rules permit incoming players to participate in on-campus practices not at the bowl site. So he will not practice in Jacksonville, but he will practice in the practices leading up to the bowl game, which is still cool. I mean, that's, extra practice for him. He gets to get ingrained with the team. I mean, I'll ask JC about it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just reading to you what this article says about NCAA rules. So that's cool though. Yeah. Very good. Cool. He's not going to play in the bowl game, obviously, but that's a cool thing. So, anyways, guys, on that note, hey, let's go ahead and jump into a break. Like I mentioned, we do have JC Sherbert at 1:15 on the other side. We'll take nothing but your questions. Oh, well, let's go ahead and jump to the phone lines. We got Robbie Davis chiming in. Let's get him in.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie, what's going on, my guy? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. My cough came back a little bit today, so it's a little irritating.
Well, hope you feel better, my guy. I hate to dance on your grave a bit, but boy, that game last night, not quite a 75-65 finish like my boy Robbie Davis predicted. I tell you that. UAB's pretty good, my guy. UAB's pretty good.
Yeah. They played like a conference champion, okay? Like, I'm going to be real right now. They played like a conference champion. I would not be surprised if they made it and won their conference tournament, okay? I would not be shocked because last night, and me and Marion R26, a.k.a. my stepdad, okay? We talked about it last night, and we were like, there's no way. I was like, if I was Gigi, I'd come back for another year. He ain't ready for he's not ready for the NBA. If he went to the NBA after this year, he'd be destroyed. It wouldn't be pretty. And we definitely did not take care of the ball. And instead of us using our athleticism, they used their athleticism and beat our ass.
Yeah, I mean, UAB, I think, UAB is a very good team. UAB is a very good team.
Yes, they are. Yes.
We didn't lose to a bunch of scrubs. They're a good team.
Yeah, we didn't lose to a bunch of scrubs. They are good. They are. They 100% are. And if we don't figure out something now, if we don't figure out who the best starting five is, okay, because right now nobody's playing like they should be in the starting five, okay? The only one that's playing like they should be in the starting five is Gigi, to be honest. That is the only one that's playing like a starting five player, okay? At the moment, right now. Right now, if I was there, I'd be like, show me you want to be here and show me that you want to prove a point, or you're not going to be seeing the court until further notice.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie, I guess my only what I would say to you is this. I just don't think we have anybody else. Like, I think we're putting our best five out there. That's
that's
kind of the harsh reality.
I'm just saying that's what I would. I'm just saying that's what I would say. I'm like, look, you either need to do something, okay? Like, and yes, we knew that this probably was not going to be a fantastic year. And another thing that me and Marion R26 talked about is it's going to take at minimum, I would say it's probably going to take at most 3 years for him for Lamont to get the guys that he wants. Because whenever he got here, the cupboard was bare. Okay, basically everybody that was on the team last year is not there, except for Gray. But besides that, the cupboard is bare as can be.
Yeah, Robbie. Yeah, we all know it's going to be a work in progress and a build, and yeah, I mean, we've established that for sure. I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record and say that after every game, and yeah, I mean, it's just we just have to get the players. That's it. Our roster got gutted when we made the move, and we're not very good. Like GG's awesome, but he's surrounded by, we got a couple of decent players, but we just don't have the depth. We just don't have the depth to realistically compete.
Right.
And I mean, it is what it is. We knew what we were getting into this year. So
yeah, and the whole Darius Rush thing. Okay, if somebody was to tell me, and I had a chance to go to the NFL, somebody was to tell me that I have to be at a workout thing at a certain time and show up uninjured, I wouldn't even hesitate. Like, I'm not playing in the bowl game. I got a chance to make it into the NFL and make money and take care of my family members for the next 10 or so years. I'm not going to risk it off of playing a bowl game. So I do not blame Darius Rush for sitting it out. Okay, I don't at all. I look at it as like you said, right? This is an opportunity for you to have underclassmen in there, get them some game experience. That way, whenever they come into the preseason or what have you for next year, they've already got some game experience and they're more ready than they would have been if they wouldn't have played in the bowl game.
Yeah.
So I say whoever's in there, let them play.
Yeah.
On it. Let them
play. I'm excited to watch them for sure. I'm excited to see these young guys kind of young guys ball out and get an opportunity. So.
Yeah. And that reporter needs to leave Shane Beamer alone, man. Shane Beamer ain't afraid to speak his mind. That's what I love about Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer don't give a damn, okay? You don't care. Reporter, you don't give a darn. He'll make you eat dirt and make you smile while you eat it. You don't care. I mean, we proved Vegas wrong this year. We won 8 games. We were only supposed to win what? 4? 3?
In regards to what?
Shane Beamer knows.
Yeah,
what
we
got.
were over under was 5.5, 6, something like that. Yeah, we overachieved. Yeah.
So kudos to the coaching staff. Kudos to Beamer getting us to 8 wins. I gave you my prediction before the season started. I had us going 8-4, right? No, either 7-5 or 8-4. Anywho, we did it. We went 8-4. I do believe we're going to take care of business against Notre Dame and do something that Clemson did not do, and that is beat Notre Dame. So I do think we'll beat Notre Dame, even though some of our best defensive backs are not in the game. I think we'll take care of business and beat Notre Dame.
I love it. I love it. Robbie,
but,
we're going to jump into a break, my guy. I appreciate you.
No problem, buddy.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cox and go Vols, and stay dry in case it's raining over there.
I'll do my best, my guy. I appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, man. You too. Take care. Robbie Davis, what a legend. Appreciate him tuning in. Guys, we are going to jump into a break. I need to reload with some coffee here. Anyways, on the other side, more of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. I just got a good laugh. My guy John, his reply to Gene Sabakov's tweet. L. It's the letter of the day. L. Anyways, I see my guy Phil Harris tuned in. Phil, what's going on? Appreciate you. Braddock 843 says, I think you had us at 6 wins. Run it back, Chris. Braddock, my preseason predictions are very well documented. You can ask anyone in here, or you can go back and check. I had us at 8-4, a win over Clemson. So, had us exactly at 8-4, 4-4. My preseason predictions and my predictions as a whole are very, very well documented. Rudy Gore says, how quick could we get out of the Under Armour deal with the way they're recruiting against us, other Under Armour schools to Maryland, Tree, Harbor, potentially Lloyd? And if so, what brand would you like to see us rep? I don't know how quickly we could get out of the Under Armour deal. I'd love to see us be a Nike school. I mean, in regards to merchandise, and I don't know. I think Nike's good. I think Nike's cool. I'd be down with Jordan would obviously be incredible, but yeah. Okay, so he was talking about Robbie. All right, cool. Yeah, you know I picked 8-4. All right, my bad there. Yeah, see, Youngblood, I actually think Robbie stated he would shave his head if we won 8 games and predicted us to win 8 that same day. Yeah, did Robbie predict that? Because I tell you what, if we'd have won 10, I'd be getting an ass tat right now. I'd be getting an ass tat. So maybe Robbie should be shaving his head. I don't know. I forget, was that a thing? I guess I didn't really keep up with it. Interesting. Anyways, guys, we got JC Sherbert coming on at 1:15. Of course, podcast will drop tomorrow. It'll probably be a basketball-heavy show with full takeaways from, or brief takeaways from the game that happened last night. And, of course, Saturday, Gamecocks take on East Carolina in Greenville at Bon Secours. We will be there. So, if there's going to be any Gamecocks, we'd love to run into you guys there. Going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, going to be a blast. So, we'll talk that game, preview that game. Also, I'll give my thoughts on Dowell Loggins, Shane Beamer, the presser, all that good stuff. Also Darius Rush in the portal. Things start to, I feel like the dust is starting to settle maybe a little bit here on this Thursday. It's not quite as much chaos. I mean, we love the chaos from the content side, but at the same time, now we're dealing with recruiting and what Maryland's doing. And I never thought I'd be sitting here talking about Maryland football. I'm not, and I don't want to. I don't really want to. So also, guys, exciting content upcoming that, next week we'll do our Dear Santa thing. We'll ask Santa for what we want for Christmas, if you will. We'll ask Santa Claus for a Gamecock fans Christmas wish list. Then we'll also get into the final week of the year and look back on the year that was, and also talk the bowl game. Going to be a lot of fun. And then January, I do my way too early season predictions for the following year, and we'll start talking baseball pretty soon as well, and then basketball, of course. Robbie texts in and says, if we would have won 10 games, I would have shaved my head, but we went 8-4. Okay. Robbie Davis just wanted to make that clear. I put an ass cheek tattoo on the line, and Robbie put a buzz cut on the line. That doesn't feel – those two things are not quite the same. Doesn't feel like those two things are quite the same. So, anyways, all good. Guys, I will say this, just looking back at the presser yesterday, what I loved hearing both Beamer and Loggins discuss, and it really felt like reinforced, was their commitment to getting the ball to our playmakers in space and maximizing the talent of the players we have on the roster. Also, they made it very clear, right? I mean, I don't think there were any shots obviously taken at Marcus Satterfield, but I think the point was made that, hey, what we did the first 10 games, it was too complex. It was just too complicated for our guys. And hearing both Beamer and Loggins, express that they're committed to having a system that I wouldn't say is simple, right? Because I don't want to insult the complexity of it, if you will, but something that is simple to understand for our players on our roster, to where they can play free, they can play fast. Loggins made the point that Spencer Rattler played free the final 2 games of the season. and the other 10 games he didn't, which is what led to his inconsistency, right? So I loved hearing that. I think everything you wanted to hear Loggins say in the presser you heard, and now we'll see if they stick to that. And I think if they do, they will have massive success here. And I think there's a great opportunity for that to happen. So loved what I heard from Loggins and from Beamer in the presser yesterday. Shout out my guy, Phil Harris. The super chat hadn't even popped up yet. I'm sitting here. By the way, first time wearing this on the show, the Black Magic hoodie. I love this hoodie. Black Magic. We love that. Yeah, Phil Harris, appreciate the super chat. Hasn't showed up on the screen yet for whatever reason. By the way, stay tuned, guys, for the content. Very appreciate you, Phil. The content next Wednesday for signing day. We'll do a lot of fun stuff. I normally do like some bonus stuff, so we'll probably do like a Twitter Spaces in the morning. We might do a signing day NCAA football live stream, just for fun, right? Just for fun. I don't know. We were talking last night how much fun it would be to do like a way too early 2023 season simulation series, or just do some like, dude, if it was easier to make the NCAA football content, you see the PS3 behind me. You have to get the Hopodge connected, and there's different connections and this, that. If it was as simple as just going on like PS5 and just clicking a share button, if it was that easy, bro, I would stream a lot more. I would use that as an excuse to play video games. Why would I not do that? Why would I not do that? Let's see. Andrew says, do you think Loggins gets a little play calling in the bowl game? No. Shane Beamer already confirmed he will not be doing that. And Beamer has also said, guys, they're not going to tell anybody who's calling plays. So I would expect it to be a group effort. I would. If I had to guess, I would assume it's either Freddie Kitchens or Justin Stepp. Probably Freddie Kitchens. But, Beamer's already said they're not going to tell anybody. But no, Loggins is the new OC, but he's not even really technically, I think, on staff yet. I think he'll be using this time before the bowl game to get acclimated, to get, moved in, obviously, to take care of everything on the personal side probably as well. Because, he's got to uproot and move his family and all that good stuff. So, it's what it is. All right, let's jump to the phone lines. This should be an interesting call.
Call from
Bree.
Bree, what's going on? How are you?
What's up, Chris? How are you today?
I'm doing well. Just hanging out. What's going on?
Man, why is my volume off so bad? All right, I think I can hear you better now. I was just calling in. Actually, you just kind of hit the point I was talking about. So hopefully, next year we'll kind of maybe take the coaches more at their word, or things that they're talking about in press conferences. Because, one of the things I had pointed out this year was, inconsistencies with Spencer. And that wasn't just based on my play breakdowns. I would hear Beamer say stuff. I hear Spencer say stuff. And then everybody would still come back and point at Satterfield. And this is not to defend Satterfield, but going into next year, it's still going to take time, guys. Hopefully they have a faster start than we did this year, but it's still going to take time with a new OC to get everything just right. Spring practice isn't enough. We don't have a preseason, things like that. And, hopefully the bowl game goes our way, of course, but I don't think the bowl game is going to matter as much this year as it maybe did like last year. The fact that we got to a bowl game, that we're playing with Notre Dame, is going to be huge. As long as we're competitive, whether we win or lose, I don't think it's going to change the positive momentum. You know what I mean? So I think as long as it's a good competitive game, we'll still have good positive momentum out of it. I hope we kick the crap out of them, of course. But, I think that, obviously we just have to give more latitude to the coaches, going into next season, that they're doing the best they can. I heard a lot of people say, oh, we had so much talent on this team, we should have done better. But we weren't predicted to win but 5 games. So when you come back and you look at that and you go, we won 8. We went 8-4. And we got to a bigger bowl game than we got to last year. Is it not success? Is that not good? Is that not good enough for people to just get on board and, as you say, get on board the Shane train, Beamer ball to the moon, just get on board with that energy and just say, hey, we're going to believe in this process. We're going to trust in this process.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that as far as I know, all the Gamecock Nation's behind Shane Beamer. I would say this to the point, I want to go back to the And I agree, patience is a virtue. There's not a whole lot of that left in college athletics and college football, certainly with the pressure to win. I love what Beamer and Loggins said yesterday because, and I understand Spencer Rattler did not play great football, but I mean, the number one thing I want is it should not take, when you're a Marcus Satterfield and listening to his pressers throughout the year and you're getting into week 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're saying that, we're still figuring ourselves out as an offense and grasping everything. Like, bro, your offense should not be so complex to where, like, it takes your guys that long to figure it out. Like, I love the fact that Loggins and Beamer both sound like they're committed to having a scheme and a system where it's simple enough to where, like, and again, I don't say simple where, like, oh, it's easy for a defense to figure out, but it's easy for our players to comprehend and grasp what's going on. Therefore, they can play fast and maximize their talent, because that's what happened the last 2 games. And we know that too from conversations behind the scenes in regards to the changes and adjustments that were made after the Florida game, going from 12 to 13 different personnel groupings down to like 4 or 5. Like, things were simplified. It's not a rumor. This happened. This really did happen. Things were simplified. And so, I'd agree with you, be patient, but also, like, I understand it's going to be different with the new OC, but I also wonder though, Bree, how much. I don't think this is some wholesale change offensively. I really don't. I think they're going to continue to do, and Beamer wants to continue to do a lot of the things they were already trying to do. Like I don't see this as we just brought in some. I mean, it'll be different for sure, right? I mean, obviously there's going to be some adjustments, but it's not like we're going from running the triple option to running the spread. Like, this isn't some wholesale change, which is fine. I mean, if you can do what you did the last 2 games, I don't think anybody would be complaining. But I just, more than anything, again, I loved what Loggins had to say, because my number one thing was, I'm not expecting us to be what Tennessee was this year, but, especially if Rattler and Wells comes back, like, you have some very capable playmakers on your roster. You want to maximize their skill sets and maximize their talents. And you can't do that when you have double-digit word play calls and a scheme and a system where guys are thinking instead of playing. That's how you get guys moving in half speed. That's when you get a Spencer Rattler that looks confused, looks like he's moving in quicksand, can't make decisions. Again, Loggins pointed it out last 2 weeks. He played more free. This offense played more free, and I just hope to see that continue. And again, if they stick to their word, and I believe they will, but they stick to their word and what they said in the presser, I would imagine that will continue. But I would agree with you on the other side. Have patience, but I just want to see a team play fast, play free, and we'll go from there.
I'll give you that for sure. And and to your point about the presser itself and how he spoke in the presser, I did say last year, one of the things that just threw me off about Marcus Satterfield, I had said, he's got some genius in his system and things like that. Be like, you're crazy to say that. Well, I'm not crazy to say that. There's some genius in the system. But he also got into press conferences, and I would say he just didn't sound like he was the same as the staff. He didn't sound confident in his talk. He didn't sound – it was almost like – it was like you hear Clayton White or Pete Limbo or Coach Beamer or any of the coaches really. They just had so much confidence in the way they spoke to the press. And Satterfield always kind of felt unsure of himself. And when you heard Loggins yesterday, you didn't hear any of that. It was just like very confident, very direct, very well-spoken. I think that makes a difference too. You know what I mean? Because if you're not confident, if you can't sit down and approach the press in a confident way, you know what I mean? And approach the questions that are coming at you in a confident way, that's going to make a difference too in your own brain. Again, poor Satterfield had to go back every day after a press conference and probably sit in his room and go, "Dang, they were so mean to me." And he maybe that got in his head, and if that's the case, that's not the coach you want there. But, there could be a lot of speculation about, did we get rid of Satterfield? Did we not extend Satterfield? Did he just decide to leave? We're probably never going to know that unless we got some direct answers from Beamer or Tanner or somebody like that. But in the end, he's not there. And I do see that Loggins he already feels like a better fit just by the way he spoke in the press conference.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
To your point about Sat, I would say this: Marcus Satterfield knows football. I don't believe you just stumble into being an OC at an SEC school or an OC at a Nebraska or like get a job in the NFL. Like I would never say that, oh, Marcus Satterfield is just completely clueless and doesn't know football. He knows football. He absolutely knows football. But I made this point over the course of the season, and I would say it here. And I don't know why this is the case. I don't know. I don't know. But like, you can have all the knowledge in the world, or you can have the greatest point. But if you don't have a way, if you're not efficient at conveying that information to the person you're trying to convey it to in an understandable manner, then that information, that knowledge you have is useless. And so, I don't know. I don't know why that was the case for him. I don't know why, if Marcus Satterfield was stubborn or his ego got in the way, or maybe there's more to it than we know. I have no idea. But for whatever reason, all that knowledge he had, he just was not able to. I mean, the guys just were not able to process it. They were not able to get it. And at the end of the day, when you're getting paid the kind of money they are to be the OC, it's going to fall on you. It's the nature of the beast. Somebody's got to fall on the sword, right? So, and that's why, again, I loved hearing what Loggins said. Because again, you can be the smartest, you can be the smartest in the world at something, but if you can't convey that information to the person you're trying to convey it to in an understandable manner, that information, I mean, yeah, it benefits you, but it's not going to benefit anybody else. So, there's a reason Satterfield landed on his feet. He knows football. There's no doubt he knows football. I would never question that.
To that point, I mean, it was the same as like me as a jiu-jitsu coach. I wasn't a world champion in jiu-jitsu, but I created a really good talent on my team, and we competed at the highest levels with some of the best teams, in the Atlanta area, and won more frequently than we lost. But I wasn't a world champion myself. But what everybody said is when you teach, the way you break it down and the way you explain things, it just makes it so much easier. And you would see guys who were world champions come in and teach, and you're like, and people would be like, what the hell did he just say? I don't understand. I don't get that concept at all. So that makes a lot of sense. And, saying that, it conveys probably through all sports, obviously. So.
Yeah, dude, no, for sure. Yeah, it applies to all walks of life, no doubt. This isn't just being an offensive coordinator. It applies to any position in which a teacher is coaching a student, or a teacher is grooming a student, if you will. Yeah, and I agree with you 110%. So, and then sometimes things just aren't meant to be, man. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes things just aren't meant to be, and I wish Sat nothing but the best, and I hate it didn't work out here, but hopefully this will be something where he has success in Nebraska, and Dowell Loggins is our missing piece, and it works out well for all parties. So.
I can believe that until I see otherwise.
Okay, what is up, guys? We're back. I know the camera's looking different. I don't know what happened. The Logitech camera is just not connecting to our Melon setup. So we're going to rock with the FaceTime camera for the rest of the show, which I wish I had like a something. I don't know, napkin or something to wipe it off. Anyways, we're waiting for JC Sherbert. That's all that really matters anyways. Waiting for JC Sherbert. Appreciate him taking the time. Appreciate him having me on. Appreciate him having me on his show this morning, and we are waiting on JC. Says he's going to be on in 5. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the, like I said, for some reason, I don't know, just, I know y'all can see me. Yeah, I know y'all can see me. This is just a different camera. This camera right here, something is bugging out. I don't know what's going on. So, anyways, let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Matthew.
What's up, Slapdick? How are you?
What's up? What's up? How you doing? I really love your channel. I really love your channel. But anyways, Merry Christmas to everybody. I know it's the Christmas holiday, so I wanted to ask you a couple of would you rather questions. But while we're waiting on JC.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Would you rather go caroling or be caroled?
I'm going to go caroling. Yeah.
Wear PJs or a Christmas jumper?
I'll go with the PJs. Yeah.
Take a sleigh ride or go ice skating?
I'll go ice skating.
Be one of Santa's elves or be one of Santa's reindeer?
I'll jump off the nearest bridge.
All right. Eat leftovers for an entire month or never eat Christmas food again?
Oh, leftovers for sure.
Work on a Boxing Day or work on a Christmas Day?
Hold on, what was the first one? Work on a Boxing Day?
Yeah.
What is a Boxing Day?
I don't know. This is just the list that it has right here.
I'll work on Boxing Day because I don't even know what it is.
Open presents on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning?
Christmas morning. I can wait.
Get lots of small presents or one big present?
Lots of small presents.
And the last question that I have, be a Clemson fan or be a Georgia fan?
Kill myself.
All right, go Dogs.
Appreciate it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyways, guys, we are waiting on JC Sherbert again. I know the camera looks a little funky. We had some camera issues. I don't know what happened, but I love leftovers. Oh, Boxing Day is Canadian. I didn't know that. By the way, I'm not insensitive to like anything, but that I just couldn't help myself there. Anyways, guys, sorry for the camera issues. I know it looks different, looks funky. We had some, I don't know what happened with the camera. Yeah. So anyways, let's jump back to the phone lines here. He itching to call in.
Call from
Hunter,
Hunter, what's up, man?
what's up, man?
going on?
Back to that comment on your last caller, Trump or Biden?
Kill myself. How about that? How about that? Oh, Hunter. Oh, Hunter. What are we going to do with Hunter? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Anyways. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not the guy to talk politics with. I'm the least political guy in the world. I stay in my lane. I'm not entertaining the madness. Not entertaining the foolishness. Not entertaining the foolishness. Just I'm not the guy for it. Not the guy for it in the slightest. Anyways, we're waiting on JC Sherbert of Inside the Gamecocks. Appreciate him. Appreciate him taking the time. He will join us here any minute now. Any minute. So, and I appreciate you all as well, by the way. Appreciate you all as well. Yeah, I don't know who has time to think about those things or what have you. I'll be honest with you, Bree. I like the Melon platform. I've done StreamYard before. Solid. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for the most part, I like Melon. I mean, sometimes we have some crap happen, but sound issues are a thing of the past because I got a new interface. But I don't know. We're having these weird, like sometimes Melon it just kind of goes kaput. So, but we're fine. This camera's not bad, but not our normal, but it is what it is. Again, we are waiting on JC Sherbert. Appreciate him. I know he's got some things going on behind the scenes, so appreciate him taking the time. Madison, next question. Gamecocks or Notre Dame? Gamecocks or Notre Dame? Definitely the Gamecocks. Got to go with the Gamecocks. So. Yeah, I do, Bree. I broadcast from my Mac. So I do all this from my Mac. Yep. I think at some point, because you see I've got that PC back there is really old. I probably will at some point pretty soon invest in a brand new Mac desktop. I'd really like to invest in a Mac desktop, which I will. I wouldn't like to. I will. So Craig Godwin says, JC's getting my Carolina Rise package together. I'm sure he is. Barry Edwards says, when does the Let Loggins Cook shirt come out? Oh, Streamlabs. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Melon. So whatever the issues are, I think we could blame them. All right. I know we've been waiting patiently. Let's go ahead and get him in here. We got a lot to discuss, and we're going to do so quickly. JC Sherbert inside the Gamecock. Once again, JC, what's going on, my friend? How you doing?
Man, I just had a bunch of stuff hit me from the fiance is at work. She usually works remote, but she had 3 days in the office today. So I've got dad duty, so to speak, and just had some stuff hit me with the kids' school. So I apologize to everybody out there for being late. I hate doing that, but made it in and got to go deal with some things here in a little bit, but I'll be okay. It's never a dull moment around my house, man.
No, I hear you. No, I appreciate you, and it's all good, man. We were able to had a Georgia fan call in and do a little trolling in your absence. So appreciate you allowing that. We got the UNC folks coming out the woodworks. We got the Georgia people. It never, today, I don't know, something in the water today, something maybe in the water this week as well. But no, JC, I appreciate you taking the time, man. And we've got a lot to discuss because it's wild. You think to yourself, okay, season's come to an end. Maybe there's a little bit of a some calm. No, not with the portal, not with NIL, not with everything that's happened. The madness ensues, if you will. But let's start with the Loggins hire, press conference yesterday. Obviously, Shane Beamer speaks and really took the college football world, I'd say, by storm. I mean, Josh Pate's talking about it. We posted a clip that's got like 130,000 views now on Twitter. Shane Beamer bringing the heat. And then we heard from Dowell Loggins, the Gamecocks' new offensive coordinator. I know, obviously, JC, you covered this, so you saw and you felt the pulse of Gamecock Nation, sort of the uneasiness early on, and then sort of everything being more so calm after hearing Loggins and Beamer speak. Just talk about the saga leading up to Dowell Loggins gets the job, and then what you heard from him and Beamer yesterday. Your overall feelings as we sit here today on the fact Dowell Loggins is now officially the Gamecocks' offensive coordinator.
Well, I think he comes across as a really smart guy. I guess, when he started referring to Arkansas as we and South Carolina as y'all, we played y'all, that kind of thing. That's kind of an good old boy Southern thing, right? But there's a lot of smart, good old boy Southerners out there. And so I thought that, Chris, if he had a checklist of things that were wrong with the offense before he arrived and went through it, or before the last 2 games of the season, I'll say, and went down that checklist and addressed most of the issues, he did. And I think that reassured people because the game has rapidly changed. Football's rapidly changed. And whereas 10 years ago, you heard pro style offense, you were thinking what Alabama used to do on offense. You think what Georgia did under Mark Richt on offense, a lot of I formation, a lot of, not your futuristic type Tennessee type offenses and stuff. But it's evolved to the point where the pro game is very pass happy now. You have a lot of air raid concepts they use now. There is more crossover when you're talking about, the actual plays. Where I think Marcus Satterfield messed up, and what scares people is it wasn't necessarily the plays, as we all saw. Some of those plays work when the kids are comfortable with them and can execute them. I think it was more the setup and structure and how he was teaching it, implementing it, game planning week to week was not very good. And all that, I think Loggins understands it, and that's why he got the job. And I think, for Spencer Rattler, if Rattler wants to come back, you have a guy that's coached quarterbacks in the National Football League for however long, and that part of it, I think maybe gets a little overlooked. He's going to be a quarterbacks coach too, and that's something that with Rattler specifically, I think is very important to continue to try to fine tune his game and get to the next level. I think that Satterfield probably did a pretty good job of coaching him individually. It was just the way the offense was run was just way, way burdensome. And I think you could achieve both. The best of both worlds. You could have a college offense that's, based on pro concepts or concepts you see in the pros right now, that's easy to learn and easy to call and not as cumbersome, and go up and down the field. You can do that if you know what you're doing. Now, the one thing we don't know with Loggins is the actual in-game play calling. And we won't get a good feel for that, Chris. They start with North Carolina next year. We probably don't get a good feel for that. Gosh, game 4 is usually I like to kind of give people that much time. I think I gave Sat till game 4 the first year. So that's, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I think everything he said and spoke to calmed people down, because this isn't a here we go again Satterfield 2.0 situation. This is a new guy, a guy that's really had a different kind of career path. I've seen NFL guys drop back down to college for a year or two. Heck, Steve Wilkes did it with Missouri's defense last year. They were historically bad. Most of those guys come to college and they think they know everything, and they try to implement a bunch of stuff, and then it's a disaster. This guy spent 3 months with James Franklin at Penn State. He spent 2 years at Arkansas, observing and learning the college game and how there's differences. And I don't think this is a situation where Dowell Loggins is, decide, he's going to sit here and then next year he'll go take the New England Patriots OC job or Dolphins or whoever. I think he's decided to make a career transition and kind of work from the ground up, in a short amount of time. In college, he's an analyst for three months, and that's not a sexy job, but you learn. And then he's a tight ends coach for 2 years. That's kind of, those guys. And then he's embraced recruiting. And a lot of those pro coaches, man, I tell the story, they get back to college after 20 years and they have to go walk into like a place like the high school cafeteria and smell that square pizza, those steak nuggets. They don't know where the hell they're at. It's like, wow, where am I? And this guy's embraced it. He's embraced the relationships that are needed. And so, there's kind of a positive sign if you're hopeful for a smooth transition, is that, he did pick up what is probably one of the more difficult things for pro coaches to do when they go back to college, which is, the relationship dynamics needed to go be an effective recruiter. And so I think that's a positive. Now, do I expect everybody to sit here and throw a party and jump up and down because Dowell Loggins is the OC? No, because you can't really point to any proof. But he's Beamer's guy. You guys are Beamer ball to the moon, right? Get behind it. There's no choice. It's like there's no choice. You get behind it or not. But my gut feeling is even though this is a very hard resume at times to sell to the fan base, given the past, that's the past is the past. Move on, go to the future. I heard some very encouraging things from him in the press conference yesterday, and so I'm excited to find out, what exactly he had in mind and how the offense is going to look moving forward.
Yeah, JC, I think you make some great points on that, and I do agree with you, right? Like I posted a clip this morning, and I've said it. We've all voiced our concerns, and we made all those concerns we had very clear during the course of the OC search. But like you mentioned, Shane Beamer got his guy, and we all believe in Shane Beamer, and Shane Beamer believes in Dowell Loggins. So effectively, if you believe in Shane Beamer, you effectively believe in Dowell Loggins, right? So, I mean, I'm excited to see what it is as well. And like you mentioned, I loved what he addressed, and both he and Beamer, what they said about, maximizing their players' skill sets, right? A much simpler offensive attack in regards to their players understanding it to where they can play fast. I love that he brought up about Spencer Rattler played free in the final 2 games. He didn't do that in the other 10. Like, they made that a point of emphasis, and I don't think in a way of taking shots at Satterfield, but just pointing out the obvious, like, of what changed and what happened. And I think, if they're able to stick to that and be true to that, which I believe they will, I think they're able to see a lot of success, which leads me, JC, to this. We're not going to know, like you mentioned, and I'm glad you bring up the in-game play calling as well, because, you're not at this level by accident. Football. Everybody at this level knows football, but it's like we talked about with Satterfield, the talent of being a successful in-game play caller. It's either you have it or you don't. It's instinct. And so we won't know really right until his tenure gets going and we get into it. But I would ask you this question. I know we're not going to know concrete until next year and we actually get in the season, but I mean, do you expect the offense to change a whole lot? Like, I feel like I'm not expecting some like wholesale change, like philosophically, right? Like, I kind of feel like Beamer wants to be pro style, whatever the word means to you, but your overall take, it's not like you're going from the triple option to the spread. Like, I don't just expect to see something crazy next year, right? I mean, is that too far-fetched to say, or like, what are you expecting overall offensively? Do you expect it to be more of the same kind of what we saw from the final 2 games, or do you expect some major changes moving forward?
I think it's going to look, structurally like a lot like the final 2 games of the season. I think we'll see a lot of, spread concepts like they used. I think it'll operate at a brisk tempo. I think you'll see, the screen game. I think what intrigues me a little bit, Chris, is I don't know that the run game is going to be similar. I think they'll probably do some of the same stuff because everybody does it. Inside zone, duo, power run, stuff like that. But, I do think there's going to be probably some more counter stuff in, and which was a good play for Carolina, the counter play. Maybe a little more creativity in the run game, which, to Satterfield's credit, the last 2 games, the run game was creative. You're running end arounds and reverses, and, Jalen Brooks, slowest developing reverse I've seen in my whole life watching football. Every single time I was like, he's going to – I probably use my Jim Jeffries Australian voice, and he's an Australian comedian. He's like, man, looks like he's going to be tackled behind the line, doesn't it? Yeah, well, wait a minute. There he goes. Oh, touchdown. It was that slow, but it worked. And so I think you can see more of that, more misdirection. Carolina next season will have some guys like Amarian Brown, Xavier Legette that can, help with carries out of the backfield and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be maybe a little bit different looking run game, but the pass game and things like that, I think it'll look similar. And I think that if anything, you'll see Carolina probably throw it, be a little more pass happy than maybe they were under Sat.
JC, I know you've only got 10 minutes or so before you got to get out of here, so I'm gonna keep it moving because we got a lot. I mean, so much has happened this week. The Jaheim Bell transfer was expected, I think, to a degree, and we talked about that. How surprised were you with the Marshawn Lloyd news? And when you look at that situation, I mean, the transfer portal giveth, the transfer portal taketh away. Your just overall thoughts on Lloyd hitting the portal. Were you surprised, not surprised? Where do you stand with that?
It surprised everybody in the building because he had that meeting with Beamer and assured everybody he was coming back. Now, big picture wise, if you'd ask anybody like, a month ago, would you be surprised if Marshawn Lloyd transferred? You'd probably get a no. And this wasn't something that was, talked about a whole lot. But apparently this has kind of been on Marshawn's mind for a while. He's been through a lot of adversity at Carolina. Carolina's helped him through a lot of the adversity. NIL money wise, I think if he goes someplace a lot, Michigan. In fact, I was very interested to see Michigan State on his list. Let's just say that. So, if you're Marshawn and you've had these injury situations and things like that, maybe the NFL doesn't come calling because maybe you can't stay healthy, and maybe they know that, and so you're trying to cash in as much as you can right now. I don't know. I don't know his motivation. I just know that it was disappointing to many around the football ops building that he would just bolt like that because he had said otherwise, and that just wasn't in his character. According, as far as like just shutting everything down and telling somebody you're going to do something and not. Now, at the same time, it would not have been a surprise a few months ago because he brought it up a bunch. So we'll see. That was Jaheim Bell wasn't a surprise to me, Chris. It was just kind of it was weird the way it went down, like the timing of it, I guess. And so, but that's you can limit the damage to those two, and they'll probably lose somebody else. They'll probably lose somebody else that we all sit around and go, man, sucks to lose him. But they'll be fine as long as they can, make it back with portal guys and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you make great points. And Beamer said it yesterday, right? It's tough out here for everybody, right? Like I was asked about it earlier in the show about, do you still feel like really, truly Carolina has positive momentum because of this and this? And I'm like, every program in the country has this, and this, and this. Like everybody's dealing with it to a degree. And if you actually look at the transfer portal numbers, Carolina's doing pretty well. I mean, you got teams like Texas A&M who have lost like 20 players. So basically their whole roster is getting gutted. So, I mean, it's again, it's like Beamer said, it's tough for everybody out here and you got to deal with it. JC, let's talk recruiting because the buzz this morning around why are the Maryland Terrapins all of a sudden moving up my shit list, JC? Why is that happening? I'll tell you this, JC, too. I respect Beamer because when he speaks in press conferences, you really feel like he knows how to talk to his fan base. And certainly sometimes, right, like our fan base can get, some people in our fan base can get emotional and what have you. But, to be fair, when things happen like they did this week and a guy hits the portal and then you lose 2 offensive line commitments, I get why people are get a little bit uneasy. So what can you tell us about the recent decommits of Big Tree and Jada and Nick Harbor's up there visiting Maryland? And I mean, I know it's a busy time for you. Obviously, we're less than a week away from signing day. Just your overall thoughts on the landscape of recruiting right now.
Well, NIL has become, unfortunately, Chris, it's creeping slowly because there's a lot of football players, right? It's basketball, you don't have as many players. It's creeping slowly like basketball where there's just some outrageous numbers being thrown around. I mean, there's a kid, I'm not going to mention his name, but, he's in the portal and good player, probably could play in the SEC somewhere if he wanted. Probably not star in the SEC, but could play. Wants like this hot, $250,000 kind of deal to come transfer. And I'm like, I'll give him a bag of Hardee's coupons and a daggum swift kick in the butt and tell him to get out of my program. I'm not, those types of stories and things that they're anecdotal to a certain extent. But, I think they're going to die off because you look at just this past year, Texas A&M and Miami, they were the kings of NIL, universally praised for, they're going to win. They're going to go to the playoff and win the national title and all that good stuff. Well, Miami was one of the worst Miami teams I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying something because they've been bad since they joined the ACC. And then we saw the dumpster fire that was Texas A&M, 33 guys leave. And when you got a payroll like that, it's hard to keep everybody happy. So I think the market's going to adjust, but right now it's very difficult. Isaiah Jada, I knew when the minute Hugh Freeze took the Auburn job, knowing what I know about their NIL collective and stuff, I was like, well, Carolina, that's going to be a problem for Carolina if they go up against Auburn. And sure enough, it was. So that's that reason. He's gone probably. I would pencil him in as gone. Big Tree, Babalade, I know he showed up at the game with Kevin Plank and all that, and Nick Harbor, and that there's a whole lot of feelings a lot of people should have about that, considering Carolina's an Under Armour school as well. But Babalade has a lot going on, with his family life and stuff, and so there are like more traditional reasons I think for him to stay closer to home than just NIL and stuff. And NIL probably plays a factor in it too, because sometimes when you have family issues, you need money. But I'm not counting him out yet. But I'll count Jada out and say, well, better get on it with this NIL stuff, because Auburn is right down the road. And before they went into the 2-year black hole under Harsin, they were a pain in the Gamecocks' backside in terms of recruiting. Now they're back. They have one of the best recruiters in the history of college football, and 12 large to go by guys with. So, just be careful with all that.
JC, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Before I get you out of here, real quick on the NIL stuff, and I know some people I talk to, they're just exhausted hearing about it, and I totally get it. But it's a reality in the college football world now. As someone like yourself who heads one of the big collectives for South Carolina with Carolina Rise, I just love to get your take and your opinion on the current landscape of NIL, and do you have an opinion on like what needs to change or what adjustments need to be made? Because I get it. Like, I get why people, and I agree, some people freak out, they overreact, but I think what sucks is seeing some of your best players leave. Like, it's not a playing time issue, right? Like, NIL plays a huge role, and it's something that college football fans are still adjusting to. There's a lot of differing opinions about what regulations need to be in place, and so your overall thoughts on moving forward. Do you expect changes? Are there any changes specifically that you think would help benefit both the athlete, school, fans of college football? Just your overall take on the NIL space.
Yeah, it's the wild one. And the NCAA, they're not going to do anything about it because they don't want to get sued, man. I mean, the Park Avenue deal at South Carolina was in their purview because they can police schools that act, but they can't police collectives. Will any changes come? I don't know. That's up to probably the federal government, and I don't think I have no confidence Congress will do anything about this. And so it's either you try to compete as the best you can, and Carolina, that's the issue, is that there wasn't enough awareness or support to even compete. It wasn't a situation where, oh God, this school's got 25 million and Carolina's only got 5 or whatever in NIL funds available. It wasn't a situation like that. It was Carolina didn't even have 1. They, and so the good news is my collective Carolina Rise, we were able to give Nickham and Warray a deal yesterday. I can tell you we've doubled, and almost way past doubled in size, number of members wise. We're still, probably about 22, 23% of our initial goal. But it's getting there. And I think Ray Tanner and Chance Miller getting behind it has helped. I think just the general awareness of, oh my God, these guys are going to walk out the door if there's nothing in place. I think that's helped too. And then just the generosity of the Gamecock Nation. I always, my vision for this was, okay, you're not going to get a bunch of billionaires funneling money into it, but with this fan base, there's power in numbers. And, just like political fundraising, you $10-15 a month, thousands of people, it goes a long way, and everybody feels like they participate. And the good news about it from a fan's perspective, and there's 2 ways to look at it. First of all, it's bad for the fans because I don't feel like it's their fault, and I don't feel like they should be asked to step up. Now, it's like this at every school. It's not just Carolina, but the fans buy tickets, they support, they do this, that, and the other. You're going to, charge them for one. It's like a surcharge, like a tax on a bag or something. Fundamentally, I'm opposed to that being on them. But you either do it or you're dead. Okay. The second part of it is what's probably a positive thing is for the first time ever, fans are closer to determining outcomes because players impact outcomes more than crowd noise, more than whatever you name it, play calling, whatever. Players, talent, and so fans now have an opportunity to have a say in that and to be directly responsible for that. So in that way, it probably is pretty fun for the fans to a certain extent, especially the diehards. So. I think Carolina needs to keep going like they're going. There's two collectives with Garnet Trust. There's Carolina Rise, and then Park Avenue will come back online soon. And I think if everybody works together and pulls together, it'll be fine. I've already seen it in the last week, just how powerful this thing can be. So hopefully it continues, and Carolina will be competitive in the space. It's unfortunate that it's happening now as opposed to maybe like at the beginning of the season, Chris, because we are in the middle of a recruiting time, and guys don't have months to make decisions. They have days. And so you got to kind of, play catch up while you're trying to play ball too. That's not easy.
JC, very well said, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time and chatting with us. It's always a pleasure, and looking forward to doing it again next week, my friend.
Yeah, I guess we will. We'll talk again next week and then the holidays. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to talking with you, Chris. Thanks to you and your audience and all that. And we'll see you guys soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, JC. Always a
Thanks,
pleasure.
bud.
Great stuff from JC Sherbert. Guys, we're going to jump into one final break. On the side, I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Again, want to say thank you to JC Sherbert for taking the time. Always a pleasure to chat with him, and I think some great information, guys, especially on the NIL stuff. You know, you think he's heading up the Carolina Rise initiative, and if you have any questions about NIL, reach out to him. He's got you. He will take care of you. He will make sure you understand everything. Everything gets taken care of across the board. Again, guys, appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in, showing your love, your support, and hopefully the comments are not messed up, because I see the last comment we got was 10 minutes ago from Travi. So I don't know if you guys are commenting on YouTube or not, or if it's just a slow day. I don't know. Either way, anyways, appreciate you all tuning in, guys. Stay tuned. Podcast will drop tomorrow. TDC normal tomorrow, noon to 2. Next week should be a pretty normal week. I'll have to look at the calendar, but I think it'll be a pretty normal week for us content-wise. Wednesday, obviously. Yeah, we're good. Okay. I see Eric. I see John. What's up, Rebecca? Becky Boo, what's up? Next week will be pretty normal. You know, Wednesday we've got signing day, but all throughout Thursday, Friday. I'll let you guys know. Friday we may step away just to go home early for Christmas. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of depends on what happens, I think, next week also. But, yeah, we're good. I see you guys. I was just making sure y'all still out there. Again, phone lines are open. Got about 6 minutes to go. I want to say thank y'all again so much for the love and support on the merchandise side of the business. I've got a pile of towels about to go out. The Cox vs. Catholics merch has been a hit also. Thank you. I appreciate it for that. I'll be rocking the merch as well, of course, at the game. So looking forward to getting down to Jacksonville, and going to be a really good time. Going to be a really, really good time, and excited for it. So excited for it. Also, guys, let me just say this. Those who have ordered the Made by Jocelyn merch, those will be shipped out by end of weekend. Please just be patient. Jocelyn just posted something on her Instagram. You can go check that out. But I'll just say this. Jocelyn, nor did I. We did not see it coming. The success that the victory T-shirts and stuff and all the merch had, I'll be honest with you. And it's been a bit overwhelming for her. So just please exert patience. Unless your merchandise does not get there by Christmas, then you can complain. Then you can bitch. We've got 10 days, though. So just be patient. Please give it time. We're printing all the orders this weekend. Just hang in there. If you want to see everything on her page, you can. Made by Jocelyn on Instagram. We just reposted her story as well. She's dealing with it. She's a young entrepreneur going through it. You know, this is new experience for her. So just hang tight. Just hang tight. So anyways, guys, we got 5 minutes to go. I thought Madison says bring TSUS hats to Lot J. Madison, I don't have any hats in stock. None. I've if you want a TSUS hat for the bowl game, I would say order it on our store, tsus.store. We will have koozies and towels on hand. That is the only merchandise we'll have on hand for sale. Let's jump back to the phone lines.
Call from
Norman.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's up?
Hi. If you don't know me, he's gonna kill me, but my boyfriend Matthew, the Georgia fan, he's gonna so kill me. He's in the other room. I think he's in your YouTube chat. I just wanted to let you know because I don't think it's fair that he can come on here and troll you. So I'm gonna get him back.
How are you gonna do that?
Well, it's funny because, you know, he's a Georgia fan, and after dinner, he has no problem playing games. And after the games, I just want everybody to know that he yells, "Go Cox."
That is an interesting development. That is an interesting
Yeah.
development.
So
to
if
say
you
the
see,
least.
so if you see Mayhem Matthew in the chat, anybody from now on when you see him, just let him know that he's low key a Cox fan. And I just wanted you guys to know that. So I just wanted to troll him and let you know, Chris, that He loves the Cox. All right, toodaloo.
My God. My God. What that was interesting. Okay. All right. Anyways, let's get it back. Let's get it back. Josh M says, is Spencer coming back next year? I hope so. A lot of reason for him to come back. So, anyways, my goodness. What y'all got? What y'all got? Anyways, guys, appreciate you all. Travis says we need Dale from East Tennessee to call in. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the last 5 minutes can get off the rails. Josh M says, do you think we can compete for a playoff spot if he does? Josh, I would say this. I'll have my way too early predictions in January. I know we looked great in our last 2 games. Is this football team, this football program ready to be a playoff team? I'd say let's keep it a bit realistic. If we could win 8 or 9 games again in year 3 of Beamer, I think that'd be a great season. Because I just still think that the number one area you're building is line of scrimmage. That's the biggest area that we need to continue to build, and if we do that, but I don't think it's going to be an overnight process by any means. But who knows, guys? I mean, again, we're talking about next season. Cody said, let's put it to bed. Loggins fits the culture and the energy, and we all know that's what Shane holds most high. I'm sold. Let's ride. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm excited. Again, Shane Beamer got his guy, and I believe in Shane Beamer, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. And again, this could be the missing piece, right? This could be the missing piece that Shane Beamer needed to get us to the next level. And loved everything Loggins had to say in his presser, and loved everything Beamer had to say. And I mean, again, it's Beamer ball to the moon. Let Loggins cook, and we'll go from there. Guys, we've hit 2:00. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we will talk to you all tomorrow.